All right, so this week we're discussing the four plays that we've read so far: The Octoroon, Margaret Fleming, Trifles, and then this week, Long Day's Journey into Night. I think how they've kind of metamorphosized over the decades is I think when you look back at The Octoroon, the Octoroon was very much, African Americans were kind of departmentalized in this one little class, that they were all slaves, and even though that the one character, Zoe. I'm surprised I remember her name. Zoe was actually, wanted and desired by, these men of that time. They were still, she was still a slave. She was bought and sold, and I feel like it was very much like that. That's with the way they were. When you get into Margaret Fleming, it shows kind of the woman's role at this time. That she was almost subordinate to the man, and I know that it makes her seem strong that she kind of kicked him out, but for me, it showed kind of weakness that she took him back in the end. That realistically, she should have said, no, you can deal with this on your own. You had this baby with other guy or other woman. He had another baby with another woman, and and I know she was making him pay for his responsibility and have to fess up for it, but I just don't think that was the best thing to do. When you look at Trifles, I think this is when it kind of made the switch for me. So in Trifles, it's they're trying to investigate this murder, and and all the men are like, the women don't know what they're talking about. The women don't know what they're talking about, but the women actually figure out, and find the evidence that she did kill her husband. So I think it kind of shows that, to me, it made that switch where it was like, okay, women are strong and they know what they're doing, and from a feminist perspective, it's very much like, okay, women aren't these frail little fragile things that can't figure anything out and that they need men to tell them what to do. I feel like it switched and said, okay, women can do everything men can do basically, and they actually did it better because the men were bumbling around and didn't know, couldn't find anything. Which then leads us into this week's play that we read, A Long Day's Journey into Night, which is about an African American family who's dealing with, I guess, the one character's son has tuberculosis. Um, so I think what it kind of shows to me is traditionally I feel like a lot of the stuff that we've read is very much driven towards either slavery or racism or anything along that category, where I feel like this one was actually more about as I will call them, white people problems, so to speak. That they're dealing with disease and addiction and alcoholism. Between these couple of main characters. So I feel like it was a big switch for me because it didn't really fall back on any kind of racism really. And anything like that, it kind of went forward and looked at regular everyday problems that people are dealing with instead of constantly focusing on these stereotypes that people have for these minority groups in America.